Hello everyone, welcome to Relica YouTube channel. Today we're going to speak about how and what are the most popular ways to relocate to the United States as a founder, business entrepreneur, IT specialist, or other specialties that you work in. So, to make such a very brief overview of all possible ways to relocate, to immigrate to the United States, and if you want to work in the United States, to be able to relocate your family, and after your visa is expired, or maybe after some time, you want to either prolong it to be able to prolong it, or get first permanent residence, or maybe after, if you already have a permanent residence, to get a citizenship. And of such ways I will talk in this video today. So first and foremost, there's different types of visa categories that are most definitely suitable for IT specialists, for entrepreneurs, for other talented or exceptional, extraordinary people in the field of any profession, no matter where you work in. And those are employment-based visas, EB1, EB2, and other preferences. We're not talking about EB3 and other preferences that are not favorable in the United States. So if we talk about these two categories, first, EB1 preference is the first preference, basically the most prioritized visa in the United States. If you apply for this visa, you have to be able to meet at least 3 of the 10 criteria listed in the application pro forma. Mostly these criteria are like receipt of national or international awards, high salary, membership in associations, critical role, performance in companies, and other criteria that may be eligible for your profession specifically. Aside from it, you have to be able to demonstrate your plans for the United States, that you plan to continue working in the field after you move to the United States. That's a very important moment in your application that many people avoid or maybe neglect, and that you shouldn't do. Because you can meet some criteria, you can meet at least 3 of the criteria listed in the application, but not be able to prove that your plans match with your application and be rejected. Second preference, EB2, mostly requires you to have an employer in the United States that will move you, but there is one subcategory in this visa, which is called National Interest Waiver, NAW, which does not require you to have an employer, and basically it waives an employment certificate. What criteria there are in EB2 and NAW? First, official academic record showing that you have a degree or diploma from a specific education institution. Then you have a criteria that requires you to have letters of employment that basically confirms at least 10 years of your employment history in the profession for which you apply. For example, if you apply as a engineer, you have to be able to demonstrate that you have been working for at least 10 years prior to your application as an engineer. If you don't have 10 years of experience, you are not eligible for this criteria. Not visa, but criteria. After it, you have a license, a criteria that requires you to have a license. And it's mostly applicable for people of lawyer professions or maybe medical professionals who need to have an employment confirmed, their right to be employed in this profession confirmed by specific license or certification. Then you have a recognition letter certificate requirement and criteria. So this criteria basically just requires you to have letters of recognition or endorsement letters to be written by some peers, colleagues, organizations, associations, and so on. Please keep in mind that all the letters that you provide have to be very specific. You cannot provide some letters of abstract content in your application. I mean, you can do it, but it's most definitely going to be trashed, because letters of abstract content, they do not bring any value to your application. they are not specific, and therefore the USCIS officer cannot determine how beneficial your relocation to the United States will be, because he doesn't have details over your contributions to the company. So that's important to do. And then you have like high salary criteria and other criteria. So here you have to meet at least 3 of 6 criteria. There is like 1 criteria, other comparable evidence, but it's not important. And aside from criteria, you need to meet national interest waiver. So national interest waiver is divided into 2 parts. First, you have to demonstrate that this endeavor that you're proposing, whether it's a business plan or just working as an employee, and in this case, you have to demonstrate the importance, national merit, and benefit of the field where you work. For example, if you work as an educator in a music field, you have to demonstrate that music as a field, as an endeavor, brings a lot of value to the American society, American government, American country. Second part of a prong, it's called prong. Second part of national interest is demonstrating that you, as a professional, can be very beneficial to this field, to basically moving this field forward, being a perfect specialist. And here you basically can provide anything, your diploma, conference publications, some letters from employers, maybe from clients even too, from colleagues and so on. It's very wide. And third, if we switch to third most popular and possible way to relocate to the United States, is a non-immigrant visa O1. It's a visa for people who have an employer in the United States, yes, but you can act as your own employer. If you have a company registered in the United States, you can relocate yourself to the United States, but mostly people who do it, they are able to demonstrate that this company has a turnover or has some money running through their accounts, at least some money with which you can pay a salary to your employees. For example, you who applies for O1 visa is planned to have $60,000 salary a year, and you have to demonstrate by bank statements from this company that this company does have at least $180 in this account to be able to pay your salary for 3 years, because it's a visa which is issued to specialists for 3 years. Then after it, you can either basically prolong it by doing the same we did before, or you can select to go with a different employer. And in this case, you just go through the same process as before. It's not complicated. You just adjust your status on the territory of the United States and continue living. But most definitely, the disadvantage of this visa is that first, it's not immigrant. It doesn't grant you an immigration status. And second, your family, your spouse, and your children, if they're over 18, they cannot work in the United States. They do not have a permission to work. They can only study full-time in the United States. So that's probably what off-puts a lot of people who apply for this application. So there you go. These are 3 most popular and beneficial ways to immigrate to the United States. If you still have any questions that we can help you answer, or we can basically try to outline your application for free, you can sign up for our consultation. You don't have to pay for it. We'll talk. We'll discuss how high your chances are and what to do in your specific case. So thank you very much for your time. Have a nice day.